Do you get reached out to by now, or when that song hit, were there people that like that you looked up to that were like, man, fucking that song was like unbelievable, and you're like, oh shit, these guys listen to our music?
I mean, that's like probably how we got in the studio with Coldplay.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, Bono, we got in touch with.
What?
Yeah.
Through what? Email?
Sting. No, we've hung out with Bono a couple times.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't we open with that?
Yeah, right?
He's the man. I mean, he
is
actually
great.
is a fucking, like, one of those dudes that, like, immediately puts you at, like, rest. And
Yeah.
you're just like, I feel like I'm hanging out with my homie right now.
Yeah.
So
He has so many good stories,
like
and he's
what?
so charismatic. And
he's lived a life. I mean, like, done everything.
The guy's done everything. I was briefly on a radio show in San Francisco, and I got to interview Bono, which was
Sick.
madness, because I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck can I ask this guy that he hasn't been asked before? He's done a trillion interviews, and as soon as he got on the phone with us, he's talking like we've been hanging out for years. You're like, oh,
he has that superpower.
yeah, that's why you're the front man of the biggest band in the world. It's
Yeah.
like you just are able to do that.
Did he give you any advice, or do you ask for it when you get a chance to talk to him?
Tons of advice, but
Yeah.
it's actually like we called them and we're like with the preface, we're like, hey, can we call you and have a conversation? And then we want to pick pieces of the conversation to like use potentially as an intro to one of the songs on the album. And he was like, sure, sounds good. And in return, we I forgot, we gave him like a piece of some music we did or something.
Oh yeah, we played on one of the records.
But he was like, sure, no problem. And like we already knew that like you don't have a conversation with him and something not important be said.
Yeah,
So we weren't like really too concerned about like the topic. We're just like, let's just get on the phone, give us 15 minutes, and that's all we need. And there was like 40 pieces of thing, and we chopped it up, put it on the album. And it's funny because we're like, this is so sick. Like someone's definitely gonna notice this. Nobody noticed it. It was like unbelievable. Like, no one was like, "Who is this Irish guy speaking before this song?" And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like even like really like popular music outlet like New York Times music section, Pitchfork, you know what I mean? And like maybe they shouldn't care. I don't know, but it was like like it shocked me because I was like, wow, it was so cool what he said, and it was like led into this great song. No one cared.
That's so weird that like, and then you listen to a guy like Bono just talk casually, and then you listen to a guy like Bruce Springsteen just talk in an interview. You're like, oh, you talk in lyrics.
Yeah, totally.
Like you like you're like, how did you write that song? You're like, oh, you probably just talked for a while, and it just came out like that because you're talking in metaphor.
On the streets of Philadelphia, it was there's a song.
So madness.
Is there a moment where you guys like with comics, you just have to get reps to get that experience to get to a point to where you like trust that when you think of something, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to take that to the stage tonight because I think there's something there and enough to build on. Like when does that moment happen for you?
I mean, that's the only thing that you can use to like guide you is like remember the moments when like you felt a certain type of way about a sound or a lyric or whatever, and then
try to access that again.
Yeah, and like that that's a recurring feeling that you have to be like, ooh, yeah, I really fuck with this. Like we need to like push further or bring like this needs to be a thing.
Because I can imagine you can go in the studio right when you're starting over and you're like, fuck, like what do we do? Like how to just building from scratch.
Totally. And you never know where it's gonna come from. Like inspiration, cultivating your creativity, I always say, is like the hardest thing to possibly do.
What? Say that again.
Cultivating your creativity is like the hardest thing to do as an artist. Like, and remembering like. I look at these guys that have been in bands for like 30 years, and I'm like, how do you guys still like know like what's dope? And it has to be that one thing, because the sound of music and their sound and what's popular has changed so many times. I'm like, how do you like know when you got something still?
Yeah, there was a time Chumbawamba was on top of the world.
What a confusing time!
What a confusing time, but a great time. The economy was better.
Yeah.
You were what?
We were just talking about Chumbawamba.
They said talking with them.
You're like, well, fly them out here. Let's make it happen.
It's about last night.